gotta put this thing here on quiet so it doesn't ring off in your ears. There we go. Okay, we are here. We are ready to go. Ready to hang out for a while. Talk about shopping, all that fun stuff. My apologies for the slight delay in getting started. What are we, about 5 minutes late? No, 8 minutes late. How's helping Haley with some laundry and taking care of some things. So got a little delayed, but that's okay. It looks like we're crooked. We are here. We are hanging out. We are ready to have some fun. Paul's here. Paul, good morning, Paul. Paul says greetings. Greetings to you as well. How are things going? What are you working on? How's that guitar build coming along? Brian's here. There's Brian. Brian says, hello, Jeff. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are well. Well, thank you, man. I am well. We are doing good around here. Man, it has been pretty warm here. Like 100 the last few days. Or thereabouts. I know yesterday it hit 100. It's pretty toasty. It's like, it gets to like 80 in the mid to upper 80s in here when I'm trying to work. I got like sweat. Anyway, things are going good. Patty's here. Patty says, hello, Jeff. What's going on? Harry dude, what's up? What's up, man? Now, Paul says, good morning. About to spray GGBO guitar neck. Surgery rehab going great. Using a cane at work. Right on, man. I'm glad to hear that. Nice. I should have brought it out here. I just resprayed a guitar. One of my earlier, not super early, but one I made a couple years ago. I'm refinishing it, trying to make it a little bit better. Because, you know, as we learn things, we get better in our skills, and I can go back and improve things. So I just resprayed one. It didn't come out as flat and smooth as I was wanting, so I'm going to need to sand that down and respray that. But it's not a project video or anything. It's just something that I just wanted to do, just refinish it. Right on, Paul. I can't wait to see it. Harry Dude says warm. I almost remember warm. Soon, man. You will warm up soon. Let's see. Brian says, yes, we in Europe have had upper 90s for the last few days, but we do not have AC in most houses and buildings. I feel your pain. I live in a really old house. It has, well, no sort of central air or anything. We do have one of those little window units that does a pretty good job of keeping it comfortable when it's super hot. And then at night when it cools off, I open up like the windows and things and try to get some air in there. But yeah, I know what you mean, Brian. I've actually never lived in a house that had any central air. So I know what you're talking about. Neptunes! There's Neptunes! Neptunes says, there you are. Hello, Jeff, and everyone. Yeah, Neptunes, my apologies. I was a few minutes late because we were taking care of stuff. Had to help Haley with some laundry and whatnot. But we're good. We're good. Harry Dude! Oh, hey, NC! Alrighty. So, what the heck have I been working on around here? This is going to be like a giant project. Not really, but you probably can't even tell. I'm working on, let me see if I can get the rest of this so this makes sense. I am working on the next step for the acoustic guitar. I, yesterday, made, this is going to be awkward, the neck, I keep calling it the neck block. It's the heel block and the tail block. I keep calling it the neck block and the tail block. I don't know why. But I got the, probably can't tell, heel block. I got the heel block and the, I can't reach the tail block. The block that goes down here at the back of the guitar. Got these made yesterday. These were, they're not hard. They're contoured to fit the radius of the body. Radius? whatever the shape of this portion here. But I had to make these twice because, well, I got the grain direction wrong. I misread what it was telling me on the plan, and these have to go a certain grain direct. Everything's grain direction critical with this, like super critical. You know, there's certain widths and certain heights. Everything's exact dimensions, and then you have to shape it to fit. And yeah, so I got these done, and because I'm getting ready to work on the sides, let me set this down. I have, look at that, a couple of sides. We have the Purdue sides. These got delivered. I ordered these off eBay from a seller on eBay, and actually they're really nice. So I'm getting ready to bend some sides. So I'm trying to get everything ready. I'm hoping in this video I can get the sides bent, fit to the mold, and get the, let's see, tail and the heel block both glued in, which will connect these two together. So that's my goal for the next video on the acoustic guitar. So let's see here. I know I've missed a couple. I'm coming back. John's here. John says, hello everyone from South Jersey. Hi here too. John, what's going on? How are things going in Jersey? Neptune says, hey Harry, I'll take your cold if you take my heat. Major upgrade. What's up? What's going on? Now Paul says, nice sides. I was actually quite impressed, quite pleased with these. Nice straight grain. You know, I don't know how many you guys buy on eBay, but you know, I found these on there. I was looking for a Purdue set of sides. There you can see that it's nice and straight grain, quarter sawn. I was very pleased with these, and they're flat. Like, they're dead flat when I pulled them out of the box. They have just, I don't know if I can show you that, if you can see this or not. They have moved just a little bit. You really barely. You see that little tiny gap? But for the most part, I'm really pleased. They're nice and dry. I did open them up. I wanted them to sit in here for a couple of days so that they can acclimate to our, you know, our humidity and all that sort of thing. But I was sort of expecting them to move around more than they did. You know, there's just barely. I'm happy with them so far, so I can't wait to get them bent. I've got to thickness them a little bit more. They're a little bit thick, but yeah, we're ready to bend. A friend of mine, as much as I want to jump in and try to bend these by hand for this first build, a friend of mine volunteered to put them in his bender. He's got one of those jigs, you know, that you put it in with the like the heat blanket or something, and it bends them all in one shot. I'm gonna take him up on that just to remove that little piece from the equation, and then, as you know, maybe the next one I'll do by hand or something like that. Ray, Crafted by Ray's here. Ray says, good morning, everyone. What's going on, Ray? Patty says 36 to 38 degrees Celsius in County Limerick on Sunday, and across from the Atlantic coastline on the Dingle Peninsula to Wexford on the east side, road past JFK's family home on Monday morning. Wow, man, I really enjoy seeing the pictures that you share on your Instagram of all of your travels and bike rides and stuff. Man, what an amazing looking countryside. That just, like, it's so cool. I love seeing the fields and like all the old buildings and all that sort of stuff. It's really neat. So thanks for sharing that. Keep it up. Neptune says, the other day the heat index hit 125. Oh, good grief. I think yesterday might have been our warmest around here. I don't know what the exact temperature was. I know on our thermometer here, I have one of those indoor-outdoor deals. and it's at 100.6, but I didn't continue watching it. It may have gone up a little bit from there. The thing that's been saving us is in the afternoon, late after 4 or 5 o'clock, it seems like storm clouds come in and it cools it off. So I'm thankful for those. Let's see. Henry's here. Henry, what's going on? Good morning. How are you doing this fine Wednesday? Paul says, if you're interested, Jeff, I have a set side and back ambrosia maple I could send you for your next acoustic. Let me know. Might take you up on that, because I know there's going to be another one. I just know it. Because this one is learning everything. You know, I'm using a few pre-made pieces, you know, that. Oh, sorry. I'm using a few pre-made pieces, and not shortcuts, but you know, if people are volunteering to, you know, to maybe bend the sides, for example, I'm trying to do what I can to take some of the. I'm trying to give this project the best chance for success. But the next one, I think I want to do more of my own. This one's not really shortcut by any means, but there's just a few things that I'm trying to do to make it easier. So I can already tell that I've got ideas for the next one that I want to try. You know, maybe different woods and different things. Yeah, so that'd be pretty awesome. Some ambrosia maple. Patty says the Neptunes, you wouldn't want to shovel snow in that heat. No, you wouldn't. You might get heat stroke. Henry says, unfortunately, my favorite guitar wood supplier, Hibden Hardwoods in St. Louis, is going out of business. Check them out to get quality woods. Usually my best kept secret, but I want to support them. Right on. Well, not that they're going out of business. I've heard somebody else is going out of business. And maybe it was them, but I heard one of the better known suppliers. It might have been those guys. I can't remember. That's too bad. Patty says, cheers, mate. Cheers to you. Thanks for sharing all that awesome stuff. I really do enjoy watching your journeys. Harry Dude says, Neptunes, you have a deal. Melbourne just had its coldest night in 4 years. 3.8 degrees Celsius. Not happy. What's that, like 36? Something like that. Somewhere around there, 34, 36 Fahrenheit. That's the coldest in years. That's not for one who's used to colder than that, but it's not horrible. You're not freezing. I mean, like you're not below 0 Celsius, I guess. So I mean, there is that. I'm not saying it's not cold and uncomfortable, but Paul says send you free of charge, needing to clear out some unused stuff in my small shop. Well, Paul, I will. I'll hit you up. Definitely much appreciated. Yeah, because I'm quite certain that there's going to be a second one, and I'm sure the second one will go a little bit faster than the first, because this one, like I said, is a learning process. I'm learning the whole entire thing. You guys like blacked out on me there for a minute again. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully you're still there. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I think I was saying there will be another build. I'm pretty sure. You know, as I think you have to do at least a couple, right? Robert's here. Robert says, hey guys, just saw you were live. Yep, we are live, man. Corey says, make a 2-piece mold. It is 2-piece. My mold is 2-piece. I shall show you. It's a 2-piece mold. These latches are no good. They're a little too light. When I put my spreaders in there, it'll actually stretch this metal, and that was kind of experimental. So I'm going to have to get some different latches at some point. I think for this one, I'll probably just put some clamps on there to keep it together nice and snug. But I got half a dozen of those little latches, and I thought that it might work good, but they're not great. So I think when it comes time and I start getting the sides in there, I'll just add a clamp. Neptune says, I can handle 3.8. Robert says, video just froze. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what was up with that. Tony says, 96 with 87% humidity here on the Gulf Coast. That's a rough one, I know that. Yeah, it's not only is it hot, but the humidity on top of it. Yeah, stay hydrated. Speaking of that, Robert says, yeah, you're back. Pretty sweet. Somebody drank all the coffee. Plus, it's getting warm. I need to make sure I'm drinking water. Paul says yesterday was 112 in Dallas. Man, that's toasty. I don't think I've ever been in temperatures, well, in like weather temperatures that warm. Of course, working on the farm back in the day, you're stacking hay up in the top of the barn and you're next to the metal roof and it's 95 degrees out and it's pretty hot. But I don't think I've ever actually been in natural heat that hot. 103, 4, maybe 5 is about as hot as I've ever experienced. So, man, makes me thirsty. So that's kind of what I've been working on here. Trying to prepare for the next episode, the next part, the next step for the acoustic guitar. I've mentioned that I've got possibly a coffee table and end table build coming up. I've got that finalized. I've got materials ordered for that. And so that'll be coming up as well. Probably we'll get started on that next week. It's going to take a couple days to get some of the steel and stuff in. So that'll be kind of fun. But yeah, just kind of trying to keep this guitar rolling along. I feel like I'm behind schedule really on it, but I'm the one who set the schedule, I guess, so that's my own fault. Let's see. Robert says 93 degrees here with 44% humidity. 44 is not horrible. Johnny's here. Johnny says hello. Good morning, Johnny. How are you doing today? Welcome to Wednesday. Corey says you have I'm guessing that's inner mold and outer mold. No, it's just, let me see. It's just the inner mold. No, the outer mold. So when these sides get bent, it will get clamped, or it'll get clamped to this. And this represents I keep showing you the wrong side. This represents the outer shape of the guitar. So it'll go in here. Let me see if I can grab all this stuff. The spreaders and whatnot. I have, I'm gonna drop something here. These guys, trying to do this one-handed. I probably got them upside down. No, we're good. Ah! Hang on here, I'm gonna make this work somehow. Yeah. Come on, you. Get in there. There we go. So, nah, not really. Hang on, I'm gonna put this in and show you. This is hard to do on your lap. To be quite honest. Hang on. I'm going to get back to you guys in a second. I'm trying to figure this out. I think I've got them backwards, but yeah, they're not in there right. But anyway, once you bend the sides, then I have a set of spreaders for the lower bow and the upper bow. I also made a waist clamp if I need that to kind of help hold this this curve right here. That'll hold everything in place. Then you glue in, let's see, the heel block and the tail block, and that connects the two pieces. There is not two different molds for it. I did make a template of the shape which fits in this, but it's not really a mold. It's just, this is the main mold for shaping everything. I hope that makes sense, Corey. Let me know if it doesn't, and I'll do my best to try to explain it. So it does. Tony says, best money I ever spent in the shop was on the mini split. I would love to have a mini split. That'd be great. Robert says, a few years back, we had a heat wave here in Oklahoma where it stayed above 105 degrees for 25 days straight. It hit 120 a few days. Good grief. We don't get to 100 a lot. It's not uncommon, and we have hit 100 a couple times this year, but 90s seem pretty, like it'll consistently be 90s. We might get 100 for a couple of days, but I haven't seen it for more than a few days in a row. I'm sure it's happened, but... Johnny says, I'm good. Right on, man. Paul says, I have a couple of heaters and a window air unit in my shop. It works, but right now I can set the AC on 67 and it still gets to 88 in the shop by 3 p.m. Yeah. It's... in the morning, you know, I have a couple windows that I open up, and, you know, overnight, and it cools off pretty decent-ish. Decent-ish. Like right now, it's 76 degrees in here, so. And it's 9 o'clock, 9:30. Yesterday, I was sanding the heel block and everything, and I was just like sweating. John says, 92 here. Feels like temp is 104. Yeah. I'm guessing there's humidity involved. Yep, it's just tough. But, you know, we work with what we have, right? I could put a fan. I thought about a fan. The problem with a fan, for me, is a lot of times when I'm out here, the majority of the time I've got the camera running. So if I'm filming something, I don't want the fan squealing away in the camera. So I just suck it up and keep on trucking. Robert says, currently the forecast for our weather is saying it's going to be above 100 for the next 6 days. Whew. Well, stay cool, stay hydrated, and yeah. That's the biggest thing. And Harry, dude, stay warm, my friend. Let's see here. BS. Good morning, folks. Well, good morning. How are you doing this fine Wednesday? Now, Paul says, shame that a swamp cooler won't work in a wood shop. Would kill your wood. Yeah, you might get a little extra moisture there that you don't really want. Robert says, stay inside with the air conditioning on. Yeah, but then I wouldn't get any work done. I don't know why. I'm sorry if this thing keeps stuttering. It seems like the video keeps trying to cut out. Hopefully. I'm not sure. Well, I don't know why. I don't know why that is. But anyway, hopefully it can hang in there. But yeah, swamp cooler in a wood shop, not a good idea, I'm going to guess. BS, it's been a while, but doing. Right on. Awesome. Did you hear that? Somebody out there honking. Hello? I don't know who that is, but that happens. people drive by your guys' houses and honk their horn? I don't even know. Probably not even honking at me, I'm sure, because no one knows me, but... No, there's a busy intersection up there and people are always honking at each other. Oh, great. There's a fly in here. And that reminds me, do you guys have flies? How's that for a topic? The flies in the summer, the later summer, get horrible. Anyway. Robert says, watch your video of you carving the braces. Nice. Right on. Thanks, Robert. Then Harry Dude. Awesome idea, man. For the sanding blocks. That was the coolest. That works so good for the 3D printed blocks. Paul says, yes, I turn on air filtration and they get sucked up into it. That's a great idea. I'm gonna have to get my filter, my air filter out and do that. That's a good idea. I don't have my filter set up right now. It kind of got in the way. I was trying to do some reorganizing, so I shoved it on a shelf right now, and I might have to get that back out because that's a great idea. Yeah, I was gonna get some fly spray, but yeah, I like that. Backwoods boys, hello Homeville. What's up, man? Backwoods says hello everyone in the chat. Good morning. How are you doing today? Paul says, I then use my dust collector to suck them out of the filters. That's an awesome idea. The Harry Dude says, saw the video? Those blocks worked well. Yeah, man. They worked great. I've shared it with a couple other builder friends of mine, and they're like, oh, I might have to make some of those. Yeah, it was a great, not workaround, but a great idea. On. So we're kind of up to speed right now as to kind of what I'm working on. What are you guys working on? What sort of wait a minute, this camera keeps freezing. What are you guys working on? What's on your bench? I know Paul said he's about ready to spray. Harry Dude, what's on your bench right now? Let's see. Uh-oh. Backwoods Boy says, I'm doing great. My friend just trying to stay cool. This heat wave is brutal. How are you? Well, first off, I hope you do stay cool. Stay hydrated. Try to stay cool as best as possible. I know it's hard to do when it gets this hot. We're doing good here. Just, trying to get some work done. Trying to stay cool as well. And yeah, just trying to enjoy some of the summer. A couple nights ago, my daughter and I slept outside in our hammocks. And it was quite nice. Except, I didn't know that there was going to be nighttime road construction. So at like midnight, I'm woken up. I'm laying in a hammock. And there's this UFO alien spaceship, so I thought at the moment, shining me in the light with the brightest light you could ever imagine. And it took me probably a minute to realize what was going on. They were going down the road and like milling in a rumble strip and repainting the lines. And it it was a bit of a rude awakening. And my daughter never even woke up. She just slept through the whole thing. I mean, it was super loud and super bright. And they just went on down through and did their thing. And it took, I don't know, probably a good 45 minutes because they have to go super slow. Right? So I woke up to the bright light and then, I don't know, a half an hour of them going by. It was horrible. But not the hammock part, but the rude awakening. Oh boy. Anyway, I got a little sidetracked there, but I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Middle of the night, the brightest light you can ever imagine shines you from the road. I mean, it like lit up the whole place. It was seriously like daylight. It was unheard of and uncalled for. Alrighty, anyway, let's see. Robert says, saw a different acoustic build from a different build, and they showed that they carved the space on the top into a swoop instead of leaving it flat on top. I wonder if it would brighten the tone up. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about scalloping the braces. And honestly, I feel like I'm going to do that to mine. To me, the top feels a little too stiff. Now, this being my first build, I don't have a great feel for how much flex it should have. So I'm leaving mine all intact right now until I have a chance to visit with a friend of mine, well, who's actually going to bend these sides for me. I want him to look at these and see if I'm understanding it correctly. I think it needs a little bit more bend in the top, but I'm not going to just do that yet without calling in some help. So I'm probably, like I said, I probably will end up doing that, but I want someone with much more experience than I to verify that I'm seeing the same thing. So it just doesn't feel like, to me, it has enough give. But I don't know what, quote unquote, enough give is. So I will probably do that. And it does loosen up the top, and let it do its thing by removing some more material. I just don't know how much. Backwards boy, LOL. Yeah. Not at midnight when you've just gotten woke up with the sun shining you in the face. Hair Dude says, I'm currently swearing at a smoke machine with a broken pump. Parts supplier sent me the wrong part. Grrr. I had to fix a smoke machine, I don't know, like a year ago. I've had one for years, and it kind of sat for a while. And I dug it out, put some juice in there, and it wouldn't work. Like the pump wouldn't turn on. After looking at it, what happened to mine was there's some sort of sensor in the tank, right, that doesn't let it spray when the level is low, and I ended up just bypassing that. Probably not recommended, right? But I bypassed the sensor, even though the thing was full, but it still thought it was empty. So I don't know what happened to the sensor. I just jumper wired it out of the circuit, and it worked fine. Probably have to find one to replace at some point, but that was a little bit of time with a meter, testing things, and that's a drag when you get the wrong part. Brian says, I'm about to do my first wiring on a Les Paul kit. Nice, man. Right on. That's going to be cool. I've not built a Les Paul or a LP style guitar. Might have to do that at some point. Don't worry, man. You will rock the wiring. Just, I'm sure you got a drawing. Point to point, follow the drawing. You got this. Neptune says, I'm just researching used sailboats. I want to sail the Bahamas. Well, that sounds like fun. I'll go. Do you need like a co-pilot or something? I don't know what that's called in sailing. The co-captain, the second mate. I don't know what you call it. Sail the Bahamas. That would be fun. Corey says, I'm going to order a new soft plastic egg mold for fishing. Soft plastic egg mold. Tell me more. I'm interested. What does the egg mold do? Teach me. Robert says that was on the braces themselves. Yes. I don't have my top. It's tucked away safely. Yeah, I know what you mean. I believe where I have the braces go up and then it's flat across the top. Some people will scallop those out. If that, I think that's what you're talking about, and that's what I reckon I'll be doing with these. Backwoods boy. I could only imagine the confusion waking up to that at midnight. Yes. It. The funny part is this whole procession that they were going down the road was making a ton of racket. I mean, it was loud, but I never woke up to that. It wasn't until they pulled right up to where the light was shining, like right through the trees and everything, right into my face, and that was the worst. And then of course I could hear it, until they were half a mile out of sight, but I didn't hear them making their way down. It was just that bright UFO. Backwoods Boy says, I'm taking guitar lessons now, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. I always wanted to learn to play. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, stick with it. Keep it up. And, just pick up as much as you can from your instructor, and then just keep doing it on your own. And you'll be playing in no time. You get those few chords and stuff down, and you'll be off and running. That's awesome. Robert says, the Neptunes, there's a guy that used to live over by Tulsa, built a large 2-masted sailboat in his yard over a few years. He had at last, I saw a trip to the Gulf. Oh, wow. Man, that'd be quite a project, building a sailboat, huh? I think building a canoe or something like that would be fun. I've seen several people, do the kits or something like that and building them. I just think that would be cool. Brian says, thanks for the confidence and encouragement. Right on, man. You got it. Easy. It's going to sound awesome. Paul says, I'm in the process of carving the top for a Les Paul style out of aromatic cedar. Body and the top smells great. Oh, yes. I just got the kerfing in for the acoustic, and I'm going to use Spanish cedar kerfing. Spanish cedar smells so good. It's kind of like, peppery, woodsy kind of smell. It's going to smell really nice. I went back and forth on the, because you can get everything in every species almost. It's trying to figure out what species I wanted to use for the kerfing. Reverse kerfing, solid kerfing, all this other stuff. There's so many options, and I figured, I'm just going to stick with a traditional style kerfing, especially for the first build. And then I wanted something with that. I wanted that smell, so I went with Spanish cedar. Brian says, I bet it does. It smells so good. Corey says, the soft plastic egg is to catch fish. Is it like they go into you put the egg in the water and they go into it or something? I'm not real up on fishing stuff, so I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking. I like to understand stuff. Patty says there's a really well-known book by a Canadian author called The Boat That Wouldn't Float by Farley Mowat. It will make you want a road boat trip. That sounds fun. I've wanted a raft or anything that we have a pond. And I've wanted a raft, a canoe, a kayak, something so you can just go out there and paddle around. Sempak and Rick's here. Rick, what's going on? Rick says, good morning, Jeff. I'm late again. That's okay. Better late than never. Neptune says, Sir Robert, yeah, that is Doug with SV Seeker. Oh, so you know that guy. Or know of the guy, anyway. Harry Dude says, cue Close Encounter theme. Making sculptures out of mashed potato yet? When we're done. And Robert says, yeah, I think so. Says those kayak kits are tempting. Yeah, I would just be cool. Robert says I would need Need to lose close to 125 pounds in order to be able to use the one I would like to try and build. Neptune says, I sub to most of the major sailing and boat building channels. I haven't followed much. I mean, I've watched a few, woodworker builds of like canoes and things. And just, I don't know. I kind of like the small boat thing. It's just kind of cool. I'm not really into it, and I don't really go boating. But I have done a fair bit of canoeing and kayaking back in my younger days. No. And I just enjoy that. I enjoy, paddling and rowing and kayaking and all that. I probably wouldn't use it much more in a time or two if I actually built one, but it would be fun. I would enjoy that. Let's see. What else? Corey says, you put the hook into the soft plastic egg. Ugh. Gotcha. Okay, I'm with you. It's a lure. That took me a long time to get to that point. And I still may be wrong on that. Oh boy. I'm trying to think what else I'm working on here. Not much at the moment. The acoustic. That's about it. I did finish up a shop organization project last week. I got the videos going to go up this weekend. Just kind of a simple use for some scraps, some lengths of board and some PVC pipe. Real easy. I think I talked about it last week. Trying to store my clampy bending sticks and binding and purfling and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any really good spot to put it, so I had to make a little storage rack. For PVC pipe, you can slide the pieces in there. So that'll be coming out this weekend. Just trying to get the shop cleaned up a little bit. It was starting to get disastrous, and just trying to straighten things up a little and stop knocking things over. Patty says, I go up the river in a dagger kayak to check the fences just to exercise a right to river access from the local estate and by the Earl of Pembroke. That would be cool. Checking fences in a kayak. Man. Rick says, I know I'm late, but how the build going? The build's going good, man. I believe this one you're talking about, the acoustic. I just got my sides yesterday. I'm going to bend these guys up here. Well, that's going to be in the next episode. Getting the sides bent. I've got the heel and the tail blocks all shaped, and these are the pieces that glue the two sides together. Well, they're not all shaped. I still have to chamfer and make them look a little better than just a square block, but that's going to be the next step. So the next episode of it, I've mentioned it already, but I'm hoping to bend the sides, get everything fit into the mold, and then glue in the two blocks to attach everything. That's what I'm hoping for. And then after that, it's on to kerfing and side bracing, probably in the next episode. I'm not trying to plan the episodes ahead, but that's about where I'm at. Pretty much the top and the back are pretty well done. I may do a little fine tuning to the braces once a friend of mine has his more experienced eye on it. But it's going good. Robert says, one of my friends I used to work with took his sailing course a couple years back to be able to sail up to a 60-foot boat. The course was in Hawaii. Whew, that's unfortunate. Nice, that'd be cool. Sam Packin says, do you have a hot box for bending? No, I don't. This time around, a friend of mine has an actual bender for the sides. One of the jigs where you put the whole side in and you have the clampy things and you do all the stuff and it bends the whole thing all at once. He's going to bend these for me. They're going to get soaked or at least wet, dampened some way or another, and then you put it in the jig and it bends it all at once. So that's the plan this time around. And We have a super chat. Super chat. Paul says, get some glue, cold drink or coffee. Enjoy the live shows. Paul, thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate that. Nice. Super chat. That's the official super chat song. Now, really, thank you so much, Paul. I really, really appreciate that. Get something a little tastier than water. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right on, Paul. Robert says he really enjoyed it for sure. I can imagine sailing in Hawaii. Neptune's to Paul. Nice. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Paul says, I built a steam box using a wallpaper steamer. Works great. I've seen several people do that. And, you know, all that kind of stuff would be awesome, and it would probably make stuff like this a lot easier. If this acoustic building continues, absolutely, I will continue to ramp up, you know, jigs and you know, just different methods for doing all of this stuff. Right now, again, because this is my first one, I'm still learning everything. I'm not going to go and get my own steamer box and my own, you know, all of this stuff at once, because, I mean, I'm learning. I got to learn it. But I may in the future. Like I said, we start building number 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 20, 30 of these. Who knows where the future is going to lead? I might, you know, go that route. Paul says, you were welcome. Paul, let's see. Got to have the storage for them also. Steam box is quite big. Yeah, and that's another thing. If I just get a whole bunch of jigs and whatnot, you know, for, at this moment, potentially a one-time build, I might, well, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I would totally run out of room if I just got everything. I don't have the, I barely have room to store that mold right now. But, yeah, so I'm working in slowly, trying to be as smart with my decisions as I can, and to figure out, okay, what do I really need? What can I, you know, what do I think I might be able to use later? You know, and just try to be wise with my decisions. If I've got a friend willing to bend these, well, I don't need to buy a bender right now because I got that covered for this build. But I'll see probably how this whole thing works, and I'm guessing it's going to work awesome because that's the way he builds his guitars. So it's probably going to go on the tool list for later. But right now, I just don't have the space to buy every single jig that I know would work awesome. I just don't have the room. So trying to just be smart with what jigs I build and what space is definitely an issue. I guess that's the short way of saying what I'm trying to say. Sam Packin says you're going to need a bigger shop. Well, we knew that. Neptune says that's a roll of PLA. It is a roll of PLA. Paul says, I'm just blessed my shop has 2 lofts, so I have some storage. That's definitely a plus. My shop is storage. That's part of the problem. Henry says, what's your process for getting rid of excess scrap wood or wood storage? My process is I can't store much. I have a small area in here, you know, a little space, maybe 3 foot wide, where I store stuff vertically. And it has pieces of sheet goods, it has boards, it has, you know, but I don't have a lot of space. I do have a space outside where I'm drying some slabs. They're stacked up, you know, air drying, covered in a tarp. Scrap wood, like really unusable stuff, I get rid of right away. I just throw it in the dumpster. If, you know, small offcuts and things that I don't see myself using, I don't try to keep it. If there are more usable small pieces. I got a 5-gallon bucket that I'll put stuff in there. You know, like good offcuts of, I don't know, figured wood or something like that, or different species of wood. Um, but once that bucket's full, which it is about right now, I have to go through and figure out what to throw away. I just I don't have a lot of wood storage room. So I try to be very careful with what I save and try not to save too much. So it's, yeah. And I try to use as much scrap wood for projects as I can. If I've got small pieces kicking around, I'm going to try to figure out how to use those for a project, to use them up rather than cutting it out of a larger piece of wood, because you know the offcuts build up so fast, and it's real easy to get overrun with small pieces. At least in my shop. So that's really it, Henry. I really try not to keep not to keep very much. I try to get creative with my storage, with the space that I do have, and I try to be as efficient as possible. You know, I mean, I used to save offcuts of like plywood and things, you know, for jigs and stuff, but after a while, I just can't. You know, there's so many things. It let's see, it multiplies. So I gotta really try to clean things out and just try to be efficient. Most of my jigs, as I'm looking around, a lot of them are made out of small pieces, you know, scraps and offcuts and stuff like that. And I just try to be very diligent and not let it overtake the place, because it'll do it in an instant. Robert says, like Ben, you made me think about building an extension to your shop for more room, but I'm like Ben, just don't fill the space with stuff right away. Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a need for a larger shop. Well, I shouldn't say need, right? None of it's a need, I guess. Potential spam was calling me. But there is a larger space would allow, I feel, greater efficiency, if that makes any sense. Right now, when I got to use something, I got to dig out a tool. If I got to use my spindle sander, I got to dig it out, set it up, plug it in, sand, unplug it, clean up, put it away. You know, and there's a certain amount of time. And by having, if I did have a larger space, I could have stations basically, and just leave things set up, and that would be my ideal. But we're just gonna keep on trucking and make it work. Let's see here. Harry Dude says, can you put up a tin shed in the yard somewhere for storage? I could probably do something like that if it comes down to it. Neptune says, to Paul, mine does too, but it's being used for storage at the moment. Paul says, I cut lots of excess into pen blanks that I give to people or sell some. Also make bow blanks out of it, life large enough. Yes, that's a great use. If I did turning, if I had a lathe, yes, I'd be making pen blanks and stuff. Actually, probably a lot of my scraps could be pen blanks. Yeah, that's another awesome use. Paul says, mine's 10 by 16. Watch and learn, Thomas. What's going on, man? Thomas says, good morning. What are you up to, man? Hope you're doing well this fine Wednesday. Neptune says, I would like to make some wooden plates and bowls to use on a boat. So if the boat sinks, the plates won't. Yeah, that's a good idea. Then you can still be treading water, eating dinner or something. Paul says, later guys, going to lunch. Have a great week. Right on, Paul. Have an awesome day, man. Thanks again for the super chat. Have a great lunch, too. Neptune says, later, Paul. Right on. Just had to check the time. We are at the top of the hour. You guys know what that means. It's time to get your last minute questions, comments, suggestions. Robert says, yeah, that's a problem with a small shop. It can be made to work, but a lot of time is used for setup and teardown that otherwise could be used to work on the builds. Yes, you worded that exactly well. Exactly well. Talking about wording. I can't even word a dang sentence. Yeah, you know, there is an efficiency loss at working in a, you know, really small space. And I'm not saying it's negative or that it can't be done, right? But like you said, there's a lot of time spent putting something away so you can get something else out. Moving stuff out of the way so you can do a process for something. And I'm trying to think of the best. Yeah, I think the best example, like I said, of my smaller tools. You know, the belt sander, oscillating spindle sander, my scroll saw. If I ever, you know, if my scroll saw wasn't packed away on a shelf, I might use it more. My buffer. You know, there's different things that I've built that when I want to use it, I have to drag it out. But in order to drag it out, if I'm working on something on the bench, I gotta clear the bench. Well, then now where do I put that stuff so I can clear the bench to set the tool on the bench that I was just working on? So yes, there's a lot of time spent moving things around so that you can get the work done. Again, I'm not saying that, you know, we can't make it work, but it's just I think there is a large efficiency gain by having a little bit more space and being able to keep things out. You know, there's downsides to that as well, but overall, yeah, that's one of my goals. Harry Dude says all my benches and large tools are on wheels. Lots of moving stuff around for different projects. Yes, that'd be you know, you'd be able to roll stuff out, tool carts and whatnot. Yeah, there's been several times where I want to mount something to this bench, but I keep talking myself out of it because a lot of times that's where I put stuff when I need to clear off this other bench that I usually am working at. And really the bench that I'm typically working on is my table saw with a plywood top. That's my workbench. And yeah, it's just you know, the shuffle game, which we get pretty good at. Rick says everything is on wheels in my shop and I have to put things away before I can do something else. Anyways, have a good day. Right on, Rick. Robert says, yeah, the good thing is it forces one to slow down and think about what has to be done and the order of operations and work as efficiently as possible. Yeah, absolutely. And trying to not get ahead of yourself and, you know, in the process. Harry Dude says, you always need an auxiliary bench. Yes, that's what this one behind me has become. Well, it's always been like that, I guess. But it is more solid. So if I got to do like something heavy, you know, I got to really hammer on something or, you know, who knows. That one's super heavy and it doesn't move around. This one that's sitting on top of my saw, yeah, not as solid, but it's a good work surface. Brian says, have a great week and weekend, everyone. See you next time. Right on, Brian. Have a good one. Let's see, a good afternoon. Have a great week, too. Yeah, that being said, guys, it's about time to wrap this up. And we went a few minutes over. That's okay. I started a few minutes late. and let's wrap this up. I'm going to get on to some other projects. You guys know what I'm going to be getting on. Rick says, ciao, Brian. I say choose. Neptune says, have a good week, everyone. Say hi to the fam, Jeff. Will do, man. You guys, thanks again. Man, sorry if this video is a little stuttery. I don't know what's going on, but I'm seeing it. So if I'm seeing it, you guys are probably seeing it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. What an awesome week. You guys, I hope you all have an amazing week and have an awesome weekend. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate and enjoy these hangouts. I think I say that every week, but it's totally true. Robert says, I saw a video of the big unit a couple of days ago, and he had to break out a jigsaw to modify his body because his scroll saw was too small. Wow, that's got to be quite the build if it won't work on a scroll saw. Cool. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys stay safe. Take care. And thanks for joining in. be on the lookout for the next episode coming out this weekend of Home Built Workshop. I'll see you guys next Wednesday over on the old FB. Oh, Neptune says, good luck with the end button. Oh, yeah. See, I keep wanting to bring that up. Do you guys notice that? I don't know why. I go to, like, there's an X. Where is that X? There's an X, at least on mine, right? So there's an X right there. Right in the corner. And it looks plain as day. I go to hit the X, it never X's. So anyway, we're going to do this. And we're going to do it in, I'm going to say 2 takes. Right on, guys.